I don't know if you can hear the music coming from the truck over there, but banger. You guys, I recently have been moving through some pretty heavy thoughts, memories, awakenings, upgrades in my life, in my connections. But in order to upgrade, you have to beat the boss level of the level you were at before, alright? But so the boss level or levels that I've been beating recently have to do with my own doubt in myself and really unhappy, unworthy thoughts towards myself and my future. So I will share some of those with you. For instance, one of those things that has been coming up recently is name calling, or just harshness and aggression in my tone or the people's tone around me. I've been watching and kind of analyzing how my body reacts to heightened vocal tones, like whiny, and it brought me back to my childhood. And there was a lot of things that were said that were hurtful just in my childhood. I said hurtful things were said to me, but it's okay. I also wanted to share forgiveness with you guys. It's very simple to say, oh, I forgive you, or I forgive this situation, but forgiveness is when you really truly release it and you fall back into inner peace regarding the situation at hand, the person, the connection. If you have said, I have forgiven this person for this experience, or for what they said, or for what they did, right? If you think about that situation and you still get reactive or responsive or angry or bitter or even sad, there's usually still some animosity or unhealed aspects regarding that situation and that connection. True forgiveness is when you accept lovingly that everybody, including yourself, including God, makes mistakes. It is forgiving with your heart. It is truly moving past things, because that is the only way to move forward, is to move past things. 11:22 right now, you guys. So sometimes it is hard to forgive people when we were very hurt, when our life was greatly affected. If it had to shift our reality when it comes to a living situation, or if a whole group of friends left you because one of the people wasn't on good terms with you, whatever it may be, whatever the circumstances were or are, sometimes it is harder to forgive, okay? Sometimes the situation, there's more things about the situation that make it harder to move past this and to actually forgive. I believe, that was weird. I believe that when we truly forgive somebody or something, we can really channel compassion for them again. And sometimes it is hard to forgive ourselves for doing something out of character to someone that we love, or we were triggered and we were in a negative headspace and we said something that we don't mean at all. Sometimes it's harder to forgive ourselves for making those common mistakes in connections than it is to forgive other people. Sometimes it's easier to forgive those around us because we are joyful and loving. But when it comes to ourselves, the hard work, it's harder to forgive yourself. It is more work to come into more compassion for your own self. Because we're hard on ourselves as humans sometimes, especially when you want to do everything to your highest capability, which is somebody like me. I used to consider myself a perfectionist. I'm trying to let go of that narrative for myself so that way I can be at peace. But you guys, True forgiveness, when you are compassionate with the world again, when you get your spark back, when you, wow, if you guys have a lot of tension in your body, I'm with you. I feel like we are all coming out of a fight or flight, almost like we all are coming out of this collective PTSD from when our reality in our lives got so chaotic and so wonky, especially after COVID. I feel like a lot of us are remembering what it's like to fall into peace again. A lot of us are recalling and remembering who we truly are. And I was very compassionate growing up. I was very empathetic. And I still am, but I was to the next level. I mean, I would cry at commercials. I would cry driving by a homeless person. Like, I lost a lot of that over time, but I'm getting that back because of forgiveness. I had to come into acceptance that a lot of the times that my feelings were hurt growing up, which was a lot, I was called sensitive, highly sensitive or overly sensitive, which a lot of Pisceans are that, and a lot of HSPs, highly sensitive persons, people who can feel the energy of the people around them and how a room shifts when one person leaves or how a room shifts when another person walks in. People who are highly sensitive to energy, quantumly like myself. We empaths, we take everything so hard, you guys. It's really hard to explain. I'll make a video where I go into depth about what it's like or what it was like growing up and not realizing the difference of how I perceive the world and energy and how your average person sees it. Regardless, a lot of the times my feelings got hurt, it was because I took it very harshly, whatever it may be. Somebody might have made a comment about my not wearing deodorant. Like, come on, we're preteens and teenagers, like, we're going through hormonal changes, but I would take it so hard that I would, like, cry and break down, and it would literally, like, become now an insecurity for years to come, that I found out later that every single thing that people said to me, I took so harshly, like jabs, like, that I just became a nervous wreck. I took everything offensively, and I'm coming into forgiveness for myself being that sensitive, because I actually was really sensitive. A lot of the times those people were just told those things by other people and projecting, or they were bullying, whatever it was. I took it really intensely, you guys. But I'm getting closer and closer to being at a point and a level where nothing that anybody says affects me anymore. Not like disassociation or detachment. I just know what part of their soul those words are coming from. If I'm being called like an idiot or like dumb or stupid, like now I'm like, oh, like this person has been told these things in their childhood. This is a learned habit. This is a learned behavior. They are repeating what they grew up to know as normal. They don't realize that this talking like this is not supposed to be this way. It's supposed to be compassionate. It's supposed to be understanding. It's supposed to be loving and vulnerable. So I'm becoming more understanding. I'm learning to see the reflection in the connections around me, because I used to be hurtful and I used to be reactive and I used to be verbally abusive, and I'm taking accountability for all those moments. I still have moments where I get louder than I want to be when I'm hurt, or, I'm working on myself, you guys. I'm being very authentic with myself about the choices I've made in my connections, most of all with others, and my connection to myself and my connection with God. I was very untrusting, but I was trying to manifest, so that would reject my manifestations. Now I'm falling into more surrender, more trust that it will occur, my manifestation, and now they are occurring. Now the blockages blocking me from my manifestations are so easily visible to me. I can see them right here and I can work on them right away. But all of this literally leads back into forgiveness because I learned the verbal abuse from my family. So I have to forgive my family because they learned it from their ancestors, their parents, and their parents. It was this ongoing thing, or they learned it from their surroundings, whatever it may be. My family had verbal abuse and mental abuse and emotional abuse in it growing up, just like many, many, many other families. It was on an unconscious level. A lot of the times, our parents had no idea the effect that it would take, the toll it would take on our lives when we were growing up, as we grow up, but I can see that. So I just heard that song, I can see what's happening, but they don't have a clue. We're all healing. They'll fall in love, but here's the bottom line. And now I just heard the rest. Our trio's down to 2. So you guys, I'm literally intuitively picking up right now that the song came up because we have been living with this third-party energy between ourselves and our connections for so long, whether it's family or friends. It's almost like there was this third thing with us, like causing us to argue, causing chaotic thoughts, causing lack of trust in each other. And it was the enemy, whatever you want to call it. It was a darkness that entered our lives many years ago. Many, many years ago. Okay? But we're all learning to live without that now. We need to fall back into trust, fall back into peace. We need to forgive God for allowing all of the darkness to exist and to have control in our lives, and forgive ourselves for not having our armor on. Forgive ourselves for not seeing the dark right away and annihilating it, okay? I ask God, the Creator, you, God who put us all here, I ask you to wash away the hurt in the body, minds, and spirits of all of the people on this planet, all of the people who watch this, all of their family members, all of their friends, all of their enemies are washed away of this darkness. They are forgiven for all of their wrongdoings, and they will forgive everyone for their wrongdoings. Forgiveness is brought back into this planet, into our hearts, into our minds, into our bodies. We forgive each other. We love each other. We are one another. We are all reflections of one another, and we are all forgiven, and we all forgive. In Jesus' name, amen. I forgive myself for not being a forgiving person, even though that's who I was to begin with. May all of the darkness and evil and sinister and unholy be washed away from all of our lives, you guys. Mwah. I love you. Thank you for watching. We are all forgiven regardless of whether you believe you are or aren't, but you are. It's just working on forgiving yourself and those around you and becoming more harmonious in our experiences and connections. And it's not always easy, but we can try our hardest to become compassionate or expand in compassion. I gotta go back to work now. I love you guys. Trust me, I'm not always this loving. I'm not always this meditative. I'm not always this wise. I have mental breakdowns. I have moments where I become spiritual goop. And then when I feel up to it, I come and I make these videos. I rewatch them and I also learn from them as well. I love you.